Good morning once again to all dear students. Yesterday I have recorded one video on the topic polymer for all of you, and today once again the Srimad Amrikar, the PGT chemistry of KV number 2 Reva is here with the second lesson on the chapter polymer. Yesterday we have learned in my previous video what is basically polymer, monomer and polymers, their definitions. Monomer, macromolecules made up of the small units, and these small units are the monomers. Copolymer, if more than one type of the monomer units are present there. Homopolymer, if only one kind of the polymers monomer units are present over there. Then on the basis of different categories, we have seen the types and the classification of the polymers. The three classifications we have already seen. We have discussed one based on the source, right, natural, synthetic. Then second was on the mode, based on the mode of the polymerization. The third one was on the basis of arrangement of the monomer units. Now I am starting the fourth classification of the polymers based on the molecular force. The monomer units are the small units. They are combining together by one or another means, and definitely when the units combine together, some sort of the force is present there. The force may be of different kinds. It may be a physical force, it may be a chemical force, it may be a covalent bond, it may be an electrovalent bond, it may be a hydrogen bond, even it may be a dipole interaction also, right. But definitely there is some sort of the force that binds the monomer units. On the basis of that, this is the fourth categorization classification of the polymers. The first one, the first topic is the elastomers. I think you all have seen the rubber band. So many times you have used also. When you apply the force, you stretch it. In your common term, if I say, when you stretch it, it changes its size. But do it remains in the same shape and size after releasing the force also? No, it acquires back its original shape and size, right. This category, this kind of the polymers, they come under the category of the elastomers. Elastic, you all are wearing the mask nowadays, and mask is holded with the help of the elastic. That is a perfect example of the elastomer, right. As you apply the force, what happens? They change their size. But what is the reason behind this? Why this happens? It is due to the weak force between the monomer units. The monomer units, they are binded together by the weak van der Waals forces, right. Which bond is present here? Which kind of the force is acting here? The force that is acting here is the weak van der Waals force. Dear students, please focus upon these points. These are the points of the differentiation among all these categories, and whenever in the examination you are asked to write such type of the questions, differentiate among, differentiate between, right. These criterias must be there, right. So what is the basic criteria? On which criteria it is based? It is the type of the force, which force is present there, right. The force is very weak one, very too less force is present there. The amount of the force strength, the force is quite weak one, right. And because of that, it can change its size and shape on exerting the external force. So first important characteristic, the type of force, it is a physical force, it is the van der Waals force, right, which is present here. The nature of the force is the van der Waals force. Right, and it's a very weak kind of the force, right. How this force is, it is very weak, shows the property of elasticity, right. Elasticity is the property, right. According to this, when you apply the external force, what happens, the force, due to change in the force, what happens, it changes its size and shape, but it retains its size and shape after removing the force. Now, the second important one is the fibers. I think you all have seen the threads, right, nylons. Here the elastomers, right, all the natural rubber, Buna S, synthetic rubbers, they all are the example of the elastomers. Fibers, right, these are thin thread like structure. I think everybody has seen the threads and you can compare it with that, right. Nylon rope, I think you all have seen the nylon ropes, right. The one strand of the nylon thread, that is a perfect example of the fibers. Here the bonds which are present, this is the hydrogen bond, right. What kind of the bond may be present? What is the molecular force that binds to it? Is the hydrogen bonding, right. And the second force that may be present here is the dipole interaction. Dipole means two poles are there, one is positive and another is negative, and definitely in this case two different functional groups must be required, right. Hydrogen bond and the dipole interaction bond, these are the bonds which are found in the fiber kind of the polymers. The monomer units of the fibers, they are combined, they are joined, they are bounded together with the hydrogen bond or the dipole interaction, right. Hydrogen bonding, right, it may be the similar kind of intermolecular, intramolecular, both kind of the hydrogen bondings are possible here, but in the case of the dipole interaction, right, always two different functional groups are required, two different functional groups are must to be present, right. Nylon is one of the common example of this category of the polymers, right. What do you feel if they are having this strong interparticle force, intermolecular force, the molecular force is stronger, will they show the property of elasticity? Definitely no. Although the nylon is very thin thread, but still if you try to stretch it, it never gets stretched. It has the high tensile strength, right. So this is a very important part here in the case of fibers. The bond that combines together to them are these two bonds, hydrogen bonding, right. All the polyamides, right, all the polyamides are the example of this category, right. And dipole interaction, copolymers, right, nylon 6, nylon 6, these are the examples of this category. One is having the positive pole, another is having the negative pole, right. And because of that difference, the dipole interacts, right, two poles are there which are combining, right. It does not show elasticity, right. Elasticity, no, but it shows high tensile strength. This is very high in the case of the fibers, right. So here we can compare the elastomers, the nature of bond, hydrogen bonding, in the case van der Waals force is there, elasticity, this is highly elastic. Tensile strength, it has the high, but it has the very weak tensile strength. This is the comparison between the elastomer and the fibers. Now I am moving to the next category of polymers, and this category of polymers is the thermoplastic, right? Thermo word, that means definitely some or other way it is having the relationship with the temperature, right? And temperature, you all know, it is one short of the energy, right? And this is the energy that is provided either to break the bond and or the formation is bond, always the exothermic, always to dissociate the bonds, right? That means as well the behavior towards the temperature is also because of the molecular force, right? Here the word thermoplastic, I think you all have seen the polythene bags at your homes, right? You can just remold it, right? Sometimes the scrap merchants, they collect it. Why they collect it? Because they can reuse it, they can prepare some another things. And how they will do this? For this purpose they will heat it again, right? Again it will become soft, it will become get melted, and you can mold it once again. That means it is thermally reversible, right? The force, molecular force that binds together to the monomer units of the thermoplastic, it is somewhere in between the elastomer and fiber. The force is stronger to the elastomer, but it is weaker to the fibers, right? And they are thermally sensible, right? When you are going to heat it, what you will observe, that it again gets softened, right? The force, molecular force, it is moderate one, right? And behavior towards the heat is a very important issue of this thermoplastic category of the polymers, right? On heating, what happens on heating? They become soft, right? You can remold them, right? And again you can use it, right? So this is the thermoplastic, right? The toys, buckets, all these things are made up of this kind of the plastic, right? The important thing is behavior towards the heat, right? On the basis of this only we differentiate it from the thermosetting plastics. So here in the case of the thermoplastics, sometimes to increase the softness we add some materials other than the monomer, like we use the catalyst to increase the rate of reaction or change the rate of reaction from the outside. Similarly, sometimes why all these polymers are formed? Because they are used in our daily life, some or other way we are using our life. If you see surrounding to all of us, even the laptop in which I am recording this one, it is also made up of the polymers, right? Even the clothes we are wearing, everything, this is the polymer. So everywhere you will find the example of the polymers. So here, if you want to develop the desired quality, right, the softness or the hardness, the molding property, if you want to obtain it up to your level, for this some substances are mixed from the outside, and these are called plasticizers, right? To improve the quality or to attain the desired characters, some substances are added from the outsides, and these substances are called the plasticizers. This is the role of the plasticizers here, my dear students. It is a new term, generally you don't get it very commonly. So one more term was there that I have introduced here, right? Now I am moving to the last category of the polymers, right. This is thermosetting polymers, right. Thermo means temperature, setting means get set, right. If any of the polymer it gets set on heating, you cannot reheat it, okay. It's not possible that you have the this does not have the property to be reheated, recycled, remolded, right. Whatever, as you are going to heat, it is going to become very hard, tough. I think electric switches, you all have seen the electric switches, they are made up of this category of the polymers, right. Because you know electricity, whenever the electricity flows from any of the apparatus or any of the devices, it produces heat also. Due to the resistance, the heat is generated, and if the switch is not made of this kind of the plastic, what will you will see that it will get melted. To avoid all these things, what happens, we use the another category of the polymers, and this is called the thermosetting polymers, right. The polymer that becomes hard on heating, and you cannot regenerate, you cannot remold it, right. The heating, during the heating, when once you heat, it's a chemical change and irreversible changes take place in the molecular structure. Due to the irreversible changes in the molecular structure of the thermosetting plastic, it cannot be remolded again, right. The heating, by the heating to the thermoplastics, it was a physical and reversible change. The change that was taking in the structure of the thermoplastic, it was the physical and it was the reversible one, right. And this was the reason why you can reheat it, you can reuse it, you can remold it, you can make the things from the waste material also, right. But this is not with the thermosetting plastics. Thermosetting plastics are the plastics, right, the plastics which gets hard on heating. If once whatever the shape it has attained, you cannot change it. All the utensils which sometimes you have seen, the non-stick cookwares that are coated with a black surface, this is the thermosetting. Otherwise, on heating the pan, it will get scratched. But you see that during the cooking of the food, it never gets, right. So here, what kind of the changes take place? The chemical, irreversible chemical changes take place during the heating. You can, on heating, it becomes hard. You cannot remold it. Remolding it not possible for the case of thermosetting plastics, right. So this is the fourth type of the classification, and this classification is based upon the molecular force, right. Here elastomers, van der Waals force, right, fibers, hydrogen bonding, right, or the dipole moment. Here the bond is moderate, the strength is between the elastomer and fibers, and here cross linking is present. Yesterday I taught you that cross linked polymer, one category was there, cross linked polymer, and here this cross linking is present, and that's why it does not makes the change, right. Once the three-dimensional network is formed, it never changes its shape. Right now I am moving to the last type of the classification, that is based upon the mode of formation, the polymerization, the chemistry of polymerization. Polymerization process, that means which kind of the chemical reaction takes place here. Polymerization, the process of preparation of the polymer, the process of formation of the polymer. Basically, yesterday also I have discussed two types are there, and even at that time also I taught you that this is going to be the criteria for the next set of the classification also. Right, two types of the chemical reactions are basically involved. The first one is the addition, right, and the second one is the condensation. I think now today I have right to ask the question, what is addition and what is condensation, as yesterday I have again discussed. Addition, when monomer units are combined together without the loss of any of the part on any of the atom, any of the small unit. Condensation, when monomer units combine in a such a way that elimination reaction takes place, a small molecule is being eliminated. Right. Here the formation of the polymers, it is the chain process. What do you mean by the chain process, dear students? That means if you restart the reaction in one molecule, this will carry to the next molecules also. The reaction will not stop only after the formation of the one polymer or after the linking of only two monomers. After the two monomers, third monomer, fourth monomer, fifth monomer, sixth monomer, likewise the process will take place. Right? This kind of the reactions, this is called the chain reaction. Right. So, generally you will see the whether it is condensation or addition, it is a chain process. Right. The process is the, especially in the case of addition kind of the polymers. Right. The chemical reaction, the chemical procedure is the chain reaction. Right. And chain reaction, it may be further of the three different types. Right. The first one is free radical, the second one is cationic, and third one is the anionic. Free radical, this is the term that we have studied in the class 11th. If you have forgotten, I am just reminding you, whenever homolysis takes place, right, what happens whenever the dissociation of the covalent bond takes place, and this dissociation takes by the homolysis, both the participating atoms, they get separated with their own electrons, right, and this kind of the species produced by the homolysis process that does not bears any kind of the charge but is highly reactive is called the free radical. Right. Whenever the chain reaction is initiated by the free radical, right, this is called the free radical addition type of the polymer. The importance is here of the catalyst or the external materials. Whenever any of the catalysts like the benzoyl peroxide, right, acid anhydride, these are present. In the presence of this, what will happen? The reaction will be the free radical reaction. Right. Two types of the reactions are there, addition and the condensation. Whenever the polymerization takes place by the repeated addition process, this is called the addition type of the polymers. Whenever during the formation of polymer, when the monomer units combine together, some elimination takes place, right, this is called the condensation. But what is the reason, what is the criteria that makes this difference? What is the parameter that decides, what is the determinating step, the factor that determines that the process will be addition or condensation. This is the presence of the catalyst, right? Which catalyst you are using, which external material you are using. Whenever the benzoyl peroxide and all these kind of the things are used which undergo the process of homolysis, they form the free radical, and this free radical, since it is highly reactive species, okay, it continues the process, right? And the mechanism of this is in our syllabus. This is the only mechanism, right, that is in our syllabus in this chapter. The next video I am going to give you the complete detailed information of this, so I will discuss at that time this also, right? The cationic, whenever the initiation takes place by the cation, right? The cation means the positive unit where the carbon is bearing the positive charge, right? So whenever the process completes with the help of a cation, right? When the reaction gets initiated by a cation, right? This is called the cationic addition polymer, right? Anionic addition polymer, right? The initiator is the anion, the ion bearing the negative charge. That time this will be called the anion. In a chain reaction, 3 steps takes place: chain initiation, right, chain elongation, and the chain termination. These are the 3 steps that takes place in every chain reaction, whether it is a nuclear reaction or any other kind of the chain reaction. It's a normal polymerization or normal organic reaction. In every case, 3 steps take place, right? If the chain initiation means the first step in which the chain reaction starts. If it starts with the help of a free radical, this will be defined as a free radical addition polymer. If it takes place by the cation, this will be defined as the cation, and if it takes place by the anion, this will be as anion. Cationic and anionic, these two are not in our syllabus. The detailed reaction mechanism of the free radical addition polymerization is in our syllabus, and next video I will prepare on this topic only. Now I am coming to the next part here, the condensation, right? Condensation polymer is the polymerization accompanied with the elimination of the small molecules, right? And here the process is step growth, right? The condensation process, it takes by the step and step, right? Step wise it proceeds, right? That's why it is defined as the step growth procedure, right? On the basis of the cation, right? What the other substance you are mixing and what is the nature of the monomer units. Generally, the monomer unit which is having one amine group, an H2 group, and one carboxylic acid group. If this kind of the monomer units are present there, generally it proceeds by the condensation reaction. Yesterday also I taught you that for the addition process, the addition process is mainly for the unsaturated kind, right? Unsaturated compounds, they undergo the addition reaction preferably, right, because they want to convert themselves in the saturated one. So whenever the reaction the monomer units are the unsaturated, right, it will be the addition where 2 different kind of the functional groups are present, right? The functional groups are the 2 different functional groups. Yesterday I have given the example of the nylon 6,6. Again I am just going to give you the example of the same so that you always remember this. This is a very important example. Most of the time it is asked in the examinations, right? Here I have left the example because I have to explain the entire mechanism. That time I will take it up. NH, and the second of its monomer unit is adipic acid, that is again a dicarboxylic acid, COOH CH2 whole 4 and COOH. What happens here? The condensation reaction take place by the removal of this water molecule, right? And now the unit that is formed here is the NH2 CH2 whole 4 NH, here CO. This is the bond that has been formed here as the result of the condensation or the elimination reaction, right? CH2 whole 4 and this COOH here and this NH2 here. Okay, they can combine to the another, this can combine with other adipic acid and this can combine with another hexamethylene diamine, right, molecule or monomer unit, and the stepwise step, right, the polymer will be formed, right. So here this was the complete description of the classification of the polymers. One very important part of the chapter, right. In this chapter, the questions which are asked, right, generally one very important question and very frequently asked question is a particular example of the monomers is given to you, and then you have to write polymer is given to you and you have to write the monomer units, method of preparation and their uses. The second set of the question, that is theoretical, and simple one, easy one is the distinguishing one, right. You have to distinguish among the different categories of the classified polymers, right. And one very simple question that may be asked is the examples, right. All these categories that you have studied here, with the example you have to remember. So dear students, with this I say that along with the topic you are seeing the video, you prepare your notes, right. The notes that you will require in this chapter will be just very precise notes, right. All the 3 chapters at the end, chemistry in everyday life, polymers, biomolecules, they are the very small chapters, scoring, and never you do any mistake, right. Very simple type of the questions are there. The 3-mark question that is adding to the variety and little bit difficulty level it is going to add is the mechanism process, right. That's why I will prepare a separate video on the mechanism, right. So here 5 different types of the classifications you have studied. First type of the classification, source, natural, semi-synthetic and synthetic. Mode of the reaction, right. Then that was addition, condensation, almost similar to this one, right. The third was on the basis of structure of the molecule, and in that linear, cross-linked and branched. These categories you have studied. The fourth one I started today, right. It was based on the molecular force, and in the distinguishing questions, elastomer and the fibers, thermoplastic and thermosetting plastic. These questions are very frequently asked, right. These 4 were the categories, and here the last was on the basis of polymerization phenomena, polymerization process, and here the addition and condensation are there. Addition is the chain reaction, right, and condensation is the step growth process. Addition, it may be free radical, cationic or anionic. The condensation is what is the distinguishing feature? Here the monomer units are the unsaturated compounds, and there the monomer units are mostly the compounds having the 2 different functional groups, right. So this is the parameter on the basis of which you can remember. Okay, the important thing is how to remember the things, and these kind of the distinguishing features, some key notes you have to make for this, right. And with this, today I am giving you one homework like the previous one, and homework always makes your learning better. Here again I am showing you the sheet. You take the screenshot of this and try to solve the questions. I am giving the very easy assignments so that at least every student is connected with the chapter. He starts reading, and along with this I have prepared some Google forms for you and Google Sheets, Google quizzes. That link I will provide you later, and you all will get, and in a very interesting, very amusement manner you all will learn the chapter. Thank you, and do the homework, keep learning. The next topic that I am going to record here is the mechanism of the polymerization. Thank you.